Hello guys, and welcome to another video, Be Transformed Ministry. And today we have remembered our marriages. We are speaking to couples. Today is episode 12 in our couples series, and we are talking of how to submit to your spouse biblically. We are looking at Ephesians chapter 5, verses 22 to 25. Let's read. Wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands, as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. So, again, welcome to another video. And today we speak about marriage. Many couples try to connect horizontally. In fact, it is trending that it's supposed to be 50-50 for the longest. And here is the truth, guys. It can never be 50-50. There is a lot of constraints in our marriages, a lot of tit for tat. I don't know who did this. And, fighting against each other, who hurt each other more. And, in all these fights, both of you may be having valid reasons, valid points, in fact, feeling justified, which I am not discarding that. But we are measuring each other instead of measuring one another according to Christ. The key here is to look at the standard of Christ. Ephesians is telling us you love him as Christ loves the church. I have never seen Christ comparing his love for the church to any other love. He has never complained about the church, no matter what the church is doing at this very time and age. So the key here is to stop meeting horizontally and start meeting each other vertically. And when we start going that way, it means we are putting Christ at the center of our marriage. And when we do that, everything comes together, everything starts aligning. Why? Because Jesus is love. If anything is rooted by love, then that love becomes united. I want to shift your atmosphere a little bit. We all fall short, but when we look up to Jesus, there is so much grace. When we look against each other, we will find a lot of faults, and then we forget that even us who are pointing fingers are also in fault. So instead of viewing each other as opposition, let us all view each other as children of God, because that is where submission starts, and it starts to make sense. I have mentioned the word submission, and I know most of you will be like, oh, not again. Many of us, when we hear about the word submit, we feel defeated, we weaponize it, and immediately we think of it as a weakness. People think submission means being walked all over, but that is not it. Because of that, people have abused submission. They have twisted it to make it sound like you're supposed to be silent, you're supposed to be controlled. The Bible frames submission through the lens of Christ, how Christ loves the church. And here, in marriage, the church represents us as the bride, and Christ is the bridegroom. So submission is not enduring abuse. I may say it is also not being blind to obedience or blind obedience, but it is choosing to honor Jesus Christ and letting him lead in your relationship. So you're not submitting to your spouse because he is perfect. You're submitting to him because God says so. And that is what we are called to do. Why? Because just as the church trusts Christ's leadership, we are supposed as wives to reflect that trust in marriage. And just like how Christ laid himself down for the church, that is how husbands are to provide and reflect that sacrificial love for us. So you see, when it comes to this point, submission without love means control. But love without order becomes chaos. You see, marriage was never meant to be a power struggle. It was meant to reflect the gospel. When both husband and wife bow to Christ, neither of them can dominate each other. So acceptance is more powerful than compromise. And when Christ becomes the ultimate authority, support is established and respect is strengthened, and then we start trusting each other. So today, I want to give you 3 steps that can help you submit to your spouse biblically without being taken advantage or even being abused. Step number 1: view your spouse through the lens of Christ because he created us. Jesus accepted us. So when we see each other as God sees us, instead of seeing him as your opponent, our heart's postures start to change. Why? You will begin to see that we are all susceptible to making mistake, and so we are all, we all deserve grace. And this is where we cannot identify each other as opponents because we are all sinners and we all deserve grace. So the grace that God is showing us, we need to show the same grace to our partners. Step number 2: keep Christ as the ultimate authority. As long as your spouse or you are pushing your spouse closer to Christ and not away from him, God honors that submission because Christ will remain to be the head and not your emotions. Step number 3: go to God about everything. His wins, his losses, or her wins, her losses. Why? Most of us are excited in marriage when things are going good. But in times of trouble, we forget, and that is when we go to God, like we have this and this going on, I'm tired of this person. But let's do that every now and then because being grateful shows that we depend and it changes our attitude and we depend on the one who gave us that covenant. So may God help us and teach us to reflect his design of marriage and help us as wives to submit, with strength and also wisdom, because when our husbands chooses to love us sacrificially, you see Christ is revealed, and then we in return submit to what we are called to do. We are called to be helpers to our husbands. So when we do just that, then submission becomes easy, and love and peace and joy will dwell in the house of marriages. I pray this wakes you up, and may God bless you. May God bless your union. And there is still hope. And to those who think that there is no hope, there is still hope. Because from now on, you view your marriage with the lens of Christ. And when you start doing that, you will begin giving out grace like the one you're being given, because you cannot judge others because you yourself, you're doing the same thing. So we are all sinners. Let us begin to love each other more, to show more grace, and that way we begin to have a different feeling, and love will continue dwelling in our homes because that is what Christ wants for us. And we will shame the devil and he will flee away from our marriages. May God bless you and see you in our next video.
Thank you for watching today's video. Thank you for being a part of Be Transformed Ministry TV. It is because of you that we spread the gospel of Jesus Christ with different dimensions. May God bless you as you purpose to get transformed. Blessings.